Welcome tonight, folks, to the Roadster Rumble live on Racestars TV. We are here at Phillip Island. A late inclusion to this program with a track change tonight. So looking forward to this. I love Phillip Island, of course, and we've got the best of the best. The top 10 drivers heading out onto the circuit now to put in their fast laps ahead of tonight's two-race format. The two, of course, 30-minute sprint races around this Phillip Island circuit. We'll get some timing up for you shortly. And welcome everyone aboard tonight, wherever you're watching from. Say g'day, get involved in the chat. Let us know who you're here to see, of course. And hopefully I'm coming through nice and clear. And hello to Graham and everyone else already putting a few comments up there. So it's good to see some qualifying times. Aaron Oliver, the quickest so far of anyone outside that top 10. Like I said, we'll get some times up now. Here it is. Yeah, the current order: Oliver, Harrison and Cantor, your top three. Foster and Harrison, then the top five. All of those obviously Group A drivers, the blue stripe representing the Group A competitors. If you're new to this series, it's 86s versus Mazda MX-5s, and it's always incredible racing. And we've got some of the biggest names in sim racing here again tonight, but Jared Phil's still on your screen right now. But Jack Boyd, how good has Jack Boyd been? Incredible. Can he take a win tonight? We'll wait and see in about, well, not long until we go to race one. Who else is out there in the top 10 tonight? Good to see Wayne Losh. There he is in the top 10. As you see, as I flick through the cars there, obviously you're probably wondering, why did that car appear in the same spot as another car? That is because we are in lone qualifying mode. So what that means is there are no other cars out on the track. It's just you and the timing v each other. I will be joined in the comm box again tonight, I think, at some stage by someone else. I've got no one with me at the moment, but we'll wait and see if someone jumps in a little bit to say g'day. But round 6, we've got a bye next week, so a week off next week, but round 6 tonight. And we do these in 3 rounds and a week off, so 2 to go after this one. Jill Burgess says good, or go Boyd Racing, Jack and Glenn. And who else is there? Jaron Linus, good luck everyone. Nice to have a few comments coming through already tonight. Hello YouTube, hello Twitch, and hello Facebook. Brenton Hobson, good to see him back tonight. Goes P2, just over only 2/10 off the pace behind Oliver at the moment. So that's a good lap time set by Aaron Oliver for the Penrite Palmer's racing car. A 1:45.298 here in the 86. The top time at the moment is Gordon in the Class B drivers. Tyson Gordon has set that time. We don't expect that to change anytime soon, because you would think out of the top 10, all 10 of the 86s should be able to put in a better time than the MX-5. Henry Fenson right now. Beautiful looking race car. They've got some great liveries and paint jobs as always on these cars. There's another one. Matty T. You could do your hair in this livery. It's very, very reflective and shiny, and looking good. So welcome to a Monday night. What's everyone up to? What have you been hanging out doing over the weekend? Hope you had a good weekend. It was a scorcher here today, 31 degrees. Doesn't get much hotter than that down in the Southern Highlands as Damien Seeger keeps it on the track. Matty T goes sideways and around. Keith Logan's in the house. G'day Keith, and everyone else tuning in. Keep those shout-outs coming through as we get involved. And looking back down the order, Keith, you've put yourself in 19th on the grid. Start 19th. We go to a race start in about 5 minutes' time. Neville Mell, another one that's out there. Beautiful looking Valvoline car. He's currently sitting 9th. I'm watching some of these sector times. Just seeing if anyone's ticking over some quick mid-sectors and down into this final part of the racetrack now. You've got to get everything right, get your braking absolutely pinpoint perfect, and then you send it onto the pit straight here at Phillip Island and pedal to the metal. You're almost putting a bend in the firewall. You're pushing that pedal so hard. As you come onto the straight, this is what it looks like from on board. The 86 tips it in nicely right out, using all the racetrack, and then you just send it quickest, shortest distance to the line as you can. And crossing the line, Mel, who was in P10. Where does he go with that lap? Goes up to P8. It's a nice little job there, increasing his chances by starting a couple of a row forward as Glenn Boyd also now goes up into P4. Decent effort, both Boyds now in the top 4. Dave Goggle goes, he says, good luck everyone. Lee Harrison says Pro Kart's race team took part in the Australian Kart Championship over the weekend, finished in 20th out of 51 competitors. So that's fantastic. Well done, Lee. And the team at Pro Karts, well done. So we just keep an eye now on the time ticking down. Just over 3.5 minutes to go. This is Glenn Boyd putting a lap in as Phil Cell goes to the top by 45 thousandths of a second over Jack Boyd. Super close between them. It's obviously a favourite track of many of these competitors. There's Hobson. I expect him to maybe jump up on this lap. It's P7. And half a second off the pace as he crosses the line, goes P3 within 2/10 now of your leader. So time's coming down in this late dying stages of qualifying. Matty T 13th, Damien Seeger 11th. So both those drivers, whilst in the top 10 for the shootout, outside the top 10 at this stage. Wayne Losh currently sitting 6th place on your screen right now. Try and do something on this probably final attempt at a lap as he comes around. So 17 minutes gone on the clock. And hello YouTube. What's going on at YouTube tonight? Are we live on YouTube? Someone say good day if you're watching on YouTube. Very quiet over on YouTube. We've got a couple of competitors once again giving us access to webcams. They're all standing by and pretty chill. There we are. So we've got 3 competitors tonight giving us their full access to the webcam. Give us a wave if you're on the stream. There we go. A couple of waves coming in as the boys watching the stream. There you go. Hello. Welcome tonight. And we got Darren Linus. We got Greggy there and Larry. Leisure Suit Larry. No, it's Graham Ellis. So great to have you on there, and hello to everyone. Looking forward to seeing some racing. Graham had a bit of bad luck last week. Hopefully that turns around for this week. So we just prepare now. I'm going to be joined by Andrew Dutch in the commentary box. G'day Andrew, welcome to tonight's broadcast, mate. With 2 minutes to go here in qualifying, Jared Philsell on top.
G'day Luke, how you going, mate?
I'm well, thanks. And how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Doing a U from last week, mate. I'm running about an hour and a half sleep overnight, so it's going to be a good night.
It's never fun, mate. And how's your recovery going?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Actually been back in the seat, cutting some laps, albeit very slow laps. Force feedback down just to keep the arm intact, I guess. So yeah, I'm hoping in the next month, mate, I'll be back on track.
Very good, mate. And we got Greg joining us too. Greg, welcome to tonight, mate. Keen for this one. Phillip Island is a favourite of most drivers.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favourite. Bit disappointed we couldn't use Magny Core, but 33 starting spots before the rest of the field has to start behind the last chicane wasn't ideal, and probably wasn't fair on some of the boys that had to start at the back of the field. So I just shuffled things around, and here we are at Phillip Island.
Now, Greg, I don't know if you're using a green screen, mate, but if you're not, I'm pretty bloody impressed. What is that to your right-hand side there?
That is my other sim.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Very cool.
That is my full-blown F1 simulator.
Wow.
Daily driver.
My daily driver, yeah. It's actually a full-blown Kimi Räikkönen 2017 Ferrari replica.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. Right. I thought for a second when I saw you pop up on the camera, I was like, is that a green screen? Has he just got some cool pit garage there? Nah, that's the real deal. Fantastic.
Yeah. That's full motion, the whole box and dice. It's quite a handful to drive, actually.
Well, we might have to have a special just on that at some point, mate. But we're getting set to go to the grid now. So good luck tonight to all the competitors. So we'll go through the order and the starting order. This is how we'll kick off. Are you going to stay with us, Greg, while we call this one?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'll be here.
I'll keep you in the room then. Jared Philsell starts from pole position tonight. And alongside him, Jack Boyd will be off the front row. So quick front row. Brenton Hobson and Wayne Losh off the second row, equally quick. And watch out for them trying to sneak through. Boydie, that's Glenn Boyd from P5. Moz next to him. Aaron Oliver and Harrison start off that fourth row with Mel and Siege, your top 10. Henry Fenson starts tonight from 11th with Matty Serrero starting out of P12 on the grid. As we head back further, 13th, it'll be Dylan Canto, Mark Foster, Ray Harrison. Then the first of our MX5s, Tyson Gordon, starting from 16. And Cuthbertson, we're getting set to go racing here, so we'll get rid of that. We'll turn up the noise. And a nice short run into the grid tonight. Let's go to the front and watch Jared Philsell try and get away. A bit of tyre smoke. He smokes those rear tyres, as does Jack Boyd, coming through very quickly. I think it's Damien Seeger, made up 2 spots already into 8th position. He is flying, and we're heading down towards turn 1. You hold your breath when you get here at Phillip Island, and you hope for the best. It's a nice clean start between the top competitors. Further back, they're all sneaking their way through, and good driving 3 wide in the back of your picture. But up front, Philsell, beautiful job out in front. Jack Boyd trailing behind him 0.2 of a second as we head down through the southern loop for the first time. Then it's Hobson holding onto his own in 3rd. Damien Seeger, a rocket of a start. Hopefully he didn't get a jump start. He jumped up 3 positions off the start. Andrew, did you see Damien Seeger, just the perfect launch or a jump start there?
Oh, I think it was just a perfect launch, mate. He's done spent a lot of time practicing recently, I believe. So, yeah, he's got it down to a fine art now, obviously.
Yeah, good job. Gee, they're being well behaved on this first lap too, as the MX-5's a little bit of contact down the back, but so far so good. We haven't seen anyone go around. Graham Ellis still facing the right way after what happened last week. It's always a good sign as well. But out in front, Philsell will lead us up towards the hay shed for the first time. Boyd in tow, then Hobson. Already over a second back to P4. That's Wayne Losh we're looking at right now. So it's already spread out on this opening lap. Is that, difference in speed, or do you reckon they've really just decided to pull their heads in tonight and be very, very careful on lap 1?
Probably more than pulling the head in, mate, to be honest.
Well, they're looking good at the moment. Matty T, 13th place. I tell you what, Jesse is on fire in the MX5. P1 in class, already up 4 positions. Keith Logan back in 17th, made up a couple as well. Then Scotty Baker's up 4 into 18th, second in class. As we look back further, Greg, 22nd place. We'll talk to you when you get onto the main straight here. I don't want to just wait for we get through this final corner, the back end of his car, twitching, drifting. But you're on. Look at him, he's working hard. Look at taking the big breaths too, mate. You're through the first lap unscathed. How was that?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad actually. A couple of the boys got a good start, so I sort of tried to give them as much space as I could. I got Ben Snell, who missed qualifying, trying to make up some spots, so
Mate,
just let him through.
You got the torque turned up on that steering wheel. We're seeing you, mate. You're having to work hard there tonight.
It's the little Mazda's really slippery on the first lap and a half. After that, it settles down. So
looking good up near the front. A couple of changes to position. Logan's up 3, just drops back a position now with Harrison, who's fighting. We do have a spinning car down there, just trying to pick up. It's Mark Foster, who's going to sit on the exit of the turn. Have to just wait now for everyone to filter through. Unfortunately, when someone went in almost into the side of him there, out of sympathy.
Yeah, I think that was Andrew Roberts. Yep, it was.
Roberts just regains and not too much damage to the car. Lucky not to hit the side of Foster, who's still stationary there. He's waiting a long time to get going again. I'm not sure if he's... Oh, no, there he goes. He's got powered up and off he goes again. One person that had a shocker at the start, right down the back, Darren Linus, Frog Leap Racing. We've got him again on camera tonight, and he's got to fight back here. He's not sure what happened, but 36th place, dropped 13 at the start. And he's got the cool T-shirt. I'm loving the Roadster Rumble T-shirt. Whose idea was that, Greg?
Yeah, that was our marketing department.
The marketing department.
Which is my wife.
Oh, very good. Well, give her a rap, mate. She's done a great job with those T-shirts, looking very good. And who else?
I might have to send you one, Luke.
Oh, mate, that'd be cool. Very cool. I'd don it. I've actually got to get a camera in this studio. It's the one thing I haven't got. A few people have said, you've got to get yourself a webcam. Mate, I hate looking at my own face, but, for the sake of the viewers, maybe with enough peer pressure, I'll do it one day. A bit of pressure up the front. Harrison's dropping down the order, but we're looking at Dylan Canto. He's under a big battle here with Matty T. And then trying to find just quickly where Graham Ellis is, because he's the other guy that's given us access to webcams tonight. He's having a little battle here with Andrew Roberts down for position. Once again, he holds on tight. Loving the facial expressions tonight of all the drivers with webcams. Just shows how serious everyone takes this. You can see Graham there working the steering wheel. The MX-5, Greg, you're right, it is slippery.
It is very slippery, Luke. It takes a fair bit of adjusting.
So obviously, 30-minute race. We're nearly 5 minutes in. One pit stop. Not a lot of. You've got the pit straight here at Phillip Island, but you got to work hard the whole lap around this place. You get offline. There's going to be some marbles out there, some dust on the track. You've got to keep your wits about you for this whole race. And like I said, one pit stop. Not a lot of time to relax tonight.
No, it's going to be a full-on hour of racing, I think.
Yeah, Jared Philcell's been kept company very, very much so here by Jack Boyd, who's right on his tail. These 86s at the front. There's only a tenth between them, and Boyd's going to get a mega run down the pit straight here. Hobbo still sits in P3, and let's just stay with this battle as we head down towards turn 1, and he's not having a look just yet. How many laps will we see tonight before Jared Phil says you go and lead it for a while, mate, as Harrison does a new fastest lap of the race?
Yeah, same as last week, I think, mate. It's going to be interesting, with the who blinks first. You got Hobbo, like you said, just doing Hobbo things, just sitting there waiting for his time to pounce. So, it'll be interesting come pit stop time.
Well, that's the thing, and we've seen this probably every round this season now, where the driver in P2 is happy just to sit there and follow, and then eventually the guy in P1 gets jacked of it and says, "Nah, that's it. You're following there. You're going in front. I'll follow for a while," and we see them turn around. So I'm predicting, I reckon Philcell will probably have another couple of laps this before he gets jacked of it.
Yeah, you're probably spot on the money there, mate. Duck back in behind Boydie and let him save some fuel then.
Yeah, that's it. So impressive out the front. The top 3 covered by just under a second. Lost just behind. Then it's Glenn Boyd, Moz, and Damien Seeger back in 7th place. Damien having a pretty decent start to the race, has maintained that position too, up the 3 spots at the start, and he's still sitting there trying to connect to the back of Moz. There is Damien. These WBT cars look absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, good colour scheme on those, the black, red and white.
Yeah, it's a nice look. It's just a lovely mixture of colours out there as always, and the racing is close tonight. We're just seeing even Billy Martindale down in 20th place as Neville melds into the pits. There's Martindale 20th outright, running 5th in class, and Jesse Carriage. Greg, what's the go with Jesse? How are we going to catch him? He's once again excelling in that MX-5 tonight.
Jesse has the really clever knack of getting up with the 86s and being able to stay there.
Yeah.
Which once you get up there and you clear the rest of the pack in the Mazdas, it's so much easier. I'm just watching Tyson and Billy sort of squabble over a position now, and it's costing them both time.
Yep, we just saw a big moment there, and Keith Logan got all out of shape, and Jesse snuck through. We're on board now with you, Greg, and having a little bit of a look at what's going on in front. You said, you're witnessing this little squabble, and it's helping you catch up. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm quite happy just sort of saving a bit of fuel at the moment. I've got a bit of a strategy, so as long as I'm getting a tow and we're not too far off the front pack, I'll sit here. Otherwise I'll dive into the pits and hopefully not have to take as much fuel as some of the other boys.
Yeah, there's another good. This is once again, it's Ben Snell sneaking through here. He's up 23 spots. So what's Snell's deal? Is he too busy on his beard to make it to qualifying, or what's the go?
I have no idea. I noticed he sort of joined towards the end of qualifying, so I think he's done the right thing and sat out of qualifying because he obviously didn't make the top 10 and started towards the back. So he's done well to get through this pack on this track. So
it is an angry pack on this track, and we go back to the battle at the front. Philcell still leads Boyd and Hobson, so it's Jack Boyd here in a sandwich between the Synergy Sim Racing drivers, the white and the black, and then a bit of a train forming behind as well. You can just see as we look at Philcell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars attacked or attached to the back of him. And then you got Moz sitting in 6th. Damien Seeger not far behind. Philcell definitely dictating the pace of this race right now. He's holding it back. I think his last lap was a 1:45.1. Now that's about 3/10 off his quickest, but it just appears that he could go quicker if he wanted to, but he's got them all in a train.
Yeah, I was actually about to say, you said it last week, you know, it gets to that point where you just start holding the pack up and start conserving fuel, and I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah, we usually get to about the 20-minute mark for fuel stops. I wonder if Hobson, you know, like we say, he does hobbo things. I wonder if he's sitting in third here, he might just consider something different, an alternate strategy. I actually wonder how much he talks to his teammate in Jared Philsell, who's leading, and if they think, well, let's just split strategy here today. Whoa.
Yeah, well, Hobbo's obviously one of the best with fuel on the grid, so it'll be interesting to see what he does, especially in this race.
Losh just had a big moment too. Sorry to cut you off there, Andrew, but Losh just lost the back end going into 11 almost. Well, he dropped a few positions. He's back in 6th now, so that hurt him dearly, but Glenn Boyd was probably lucky not to connect as he got out of shape. But yeah, look, it's interesting. Henry Fenson's now the fastest driver out there. It keeps changing around. You're seeing drivers, you know, in different sectors excelling, and all of a sudden, someone down in P10, Henry Fenson, becomes the fastest driver in Sector 2 and chucks in a purple sector. So I guess it comes down to comfort. You know, what part of the race you start to feel comfortable on the tyres. Greg, is it still slipping and sliding as much as it was in the opening couple of laps?
It's settled down, but I'm sort of going a little bit harder than what I was previously. I got caught a little bit, and I've dropped off the back of Billy. Tyson sort of got a bit loose for a little while, and then of course we got Ray in the 86 coming up, so I was sort of trying to not get stuck behind Ray too much, but might be a good opportunity to pit.
Yeah, something different as they're out in front. Just watching, this time it's really close between the top three, so Hobson's close right up onto the back of Boyd, and then Glenn Boyd's just starting to drop back a bit. So 12 minutes in, obviously it's early enough to make a pit stop. I wonder if someone here will just pull the trigger. Let's just watch Brendan Hobson from on board. Will he dive into the left here and try something different? Stays out? No, stays out. So I was hoping for a bit of an alternate strategy there, but it's not going to happen right now. Impressed with Seager. Like I said, he was quick off the start of this race. He continues to stay in P7. And behind him, I think it's Dylan Canto going in the pits. We have one driver into the lane. Dylan Canto, he's going to pull the trigger. I think he saw Ben Snell was closing in very, very quickly, and Snell will move up now 24 positions into P12. So mega drive so far. The other driver that's made good inroads tonight, further down the order, but this guy Curtis Hodgetts, up 10 spots into 22nd, and you know, Bailey Wilson as well, pretty new to the series, also making up 10 spots so far into 25th and into the pits for Hodgetts as well. There's Bailey Wilson with a nice drive so far tonight. You know, gaining spots, and whenever you can gain spots, it doesn't matter where you are on the track. It means that you're progressing forwards, and that's the right direction you want to be.
Exactly right, mate. It's all about confidence as well. If you're gaining those spots, you're going to gain confidence, and you're going to be better during the race. So that's good to see.
And yeah, so true, isn't it? As Mark Foster out of the race. Just notice he's sitting at the bottom of the timing screen, so that's unfortunate after that spin at the opening stages of the race, and yeah, he'll take part in hopefully race 2. We've got an inverted top 8 again tonight, so just at the moment it would be Lee Harrison who's been quick, and Lee was saying that they competed in the karting championship and did very well last weekend. He's currently using all that real life skill to sit in P8. There he is, top of the screen, right behind Damien Seager. So in fact he just got past Seager. He's going to try and hang on the outside here, so it's a brave move, bit of a karting move this one. He'll hang around the outside. There you go, he's got it stunned too, so up to 7th now. Beautiful move that. He'll get a bit of Morse code on the rear bar here from Damien Seager and Aaron Oliver, who qualified very, very well outside of the top 10 for quali, but did a beautiful job to put it right to the top prior to Q2. He's in 9th place now and right in the midst of this battle with Henry Fenson, who I said before is putting in some purple sectors, and Fenson, P10, now finds himself knocking on the door of being able to move up a few more positions. Bailey Wilson with a big dive under brakes at Neville Mel. Thought better of it in the end, and we're back over now with Greg having a quick look at his progress. P17 up 3. Tyson Gordon closing in, and Greg, no pressure, but Tyson, oh, he brakes super late. He would have seen him right up into your mirrors there. That would have given you a bit of a fright.
Yeah, I think there's so many different driving styles at this track. I think Tyson's getting a bit eager.
Yeah. Is he going to send one down the inside? He's having a look. Under brakes, he thinks better of it. And nicely slowed down, just kisses the apex there, still gets through the corner. So, mate, that's the sort of pressure. I mean, as much as you hate pressure, you also thrive on this sort of thing when you come and race on a Monday night.
Well, you do. It's what makes the racing so much fun. Is these little battles that you have throughout the race.
It would be boring if you just went out and walloped everyone, wouldn't it?
It would. Although, having said that, I wouldn't mind having Hobbo's skill for just a night.
Yeah, borrow it. That'd be good. Yeah.
Or Jared's.
That's it. Yeah, just
I'm not fussy.
plug into their skill set for a day or two. It'd be good fun. As we watch Boyd now have a go at Jared Philsell. He's right up on his rear bar again, and still doesn't go for an overtake. So Andrew, like we spoke about 10 minutes ago, what point is Jared Philsell going to go, right, someone else lead this race?
Yeah, well, surely wouldn't be too far. 16 minutes. Obviously, we've already seen some cars start coming in, so you wouldn't think it will be too far away that one of these guys will pull that trigger and come into the pits.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking good. The pace out the front's good. They're all in the 44s again, so that the actual lap speed isn't, we've got a big train of cars, but the lap speed isn't showing like he's holding the field up here. It's just quick all around, as Anth Cuthbertson, I think, has just had a spin and regathering it back onto the track. He's lost some time down there. And there's Phillip as well in the MX-5. Good drive, up 12 spots into 17th now, about to get monstered by Dylan Canto. We'll see a real comparison here of the difference in speed as he looks to the inside, and we'll see how well it brakes. Under brakes. Oh, he didn't even need the braking zone. He already got it done 200 metres before the braking zone, so well done. Canto now up into 17th place.
I just had one of the biggest sideways moments of my racing career.
And we missed it.
out of the hairpin. But it's okay, we saved it. Lost a bit of time, but we did manage to save it.
That's the main thing. P15 now, so third in class. Greg, you're on the podium if you can stay there. Just having a look at a few drivers that have pitted though. You're yet to stop. You've got Graham Ellis, I think, hasn't stopped either. No, he hasn't. Scotty Baker has though, so you've got to watch out for Scott and also Andrew Roberts. No, Scott hasn't pitted, but Andrew Roberts has, so you're looking in good steads there for maybe a podium in Class B.
We'll see how this plays out for me.
You can watch this party. I think Jack Boyd lining up another overtake. I'm waiting to see Hobbo take a 2-for-1 deal and just take them both if this continues. He still doesn't want to overtake him. We've got a bit of lap traffic up the road as well. We'll jump on board with Hobbo now. So he can see the lap traffic up ahead. Is this where he dives in the pits? 18 minutes in, we're surely coming to the end of the pit window. These cars aren't fueled to the brim. They're capped for a fuel load in this series. So you can only get so many laps. They get through on that lap car nicely, gets out of the way, well driven, whoever that was. And once again, the top three separated by 0.6 of a second on board with the leader, Philsell. Front end of Jack Boyd's car looks really nice. He turns it in very, very well down at MG. And just watching them peel around. Oh, here we go into the pits. So Philsell with the late dive tried to balk a few of them. No one fell for the dummy, and they've all gone in together. So Philsell in, Boyd in, Hobson in, Glenn Boyd, Moz is in, Wayne's in, Damien, Aaron, and Henry Fenson. In fact, the top 10 all filter into the pit lane. Is anyone going to stay out? I don't think so. And now it comes down to how much fuel do you put in the car. We'll keep an eye on this because Jared Philcell, you would think, would need to put a little bit more fuel in the car than maybe Jack Boyd, who's been sitting behind him saving. Philcell gets out first. Watch for Hobson. He's got the jump on Boyd. In fact, he is ahead of Boyd. So Hobbo's done the leap forward there. We'll have a look at some pit stop times shortly. But Hobbo perfectly executed in the stop, and the top three have come out a mile ahead of everyone else. So we'll have a look at the pit stop time there and see how that has happened. Stationary time, 8.9 for your race leader, Phil. So 8.0 for Hobbo, 8.7. So that 0.7 of a second was the jump he was able to achieve there. 9.4 for Moz, and then everyone else in the 10s or the 12s. You know, Boydie and Seeger and Fenson, 12-second pit stop. So that's costly. They've taken probably 3 seconds more fuel than they need on board, which won't pay them back at all, other than the fact they'll be able to go 10/10ths towards the end. But I don't think 3 seconds wasted in the pits is really going to help you in the long run.
No, not at all, mate. It's really split that field up now as someone's off.
Losh, yeah, not sure what happened there. He's gone on a Leyland Brothers adventure down the south end of the circuit.
And it's put Jack Boyd in a bit of a predicament now because he's stuck behind the teammates.
Oh, big one behind. I just saw it in my mirror.
Yeah, Martindale's
Billy.
off. Martindale's
Yeah.
back on the track now. I think it was Darren Linus. We'll have a quick look at a replay on that one. See if we can pick up who it was. So, did they get together? You saw it in the mirrors, Greg. They went side by side. Did they make any contact? Nah, Martindale put a wheel out onto the grass, and then he got into the side of, I think it was Linus, and then unfortunately both of them speared off the racetrack, and Darren has put it back in the pit lane, so he's had enough of that race. We'll regroup for race 2. So 21, nearly 22 minutes into the race now. It's a three-way battle at the top, and the two teammates, like you said, Andrew, battling it out for the top position, and sitting in behind, Jack Boyd. Look at this trio. These are three very quick drivers we're watching here.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And yeah, like I said, I don't think Hobbo will be doing any favours for Boydie sitting behind him at the moment.
Yeah.
How many, Dutchy, how many laps do you reckon there is left? Asking for a friend.
I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4.
Yeah, I'd say 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch, ouch.
You haven't got enough fuel, Greg?
Get the Nurofen out, mate.
Got the jerry can in the boot?
Gonna need it, I think. I might have gone a little bit light.
Watching Scott Baker and Keith Logan here, the two teammates running different cars this year. And this is a good little matchup. In fact, Scotty Baker in the MX-5 just ahead of Keith Logan. I love when you see this shot, especially when in the identical liveries, how much bigger that 86 is compared to the MX-5. It looks like it towers over the MX-5 as they head down into the Honda hairpin.
What do you think of the little Renault, Luke, that's coming out tomorrow night?
It'll be interesting, I think. The Clio. Now, was that in an old game like Gran Turismo or one of the early Toka Touring or something? I remember racing that years ago in something.
I think it was Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
It was a cool game back in the day that had that, you know, and I remember having a lot of fun. I mean, those slower cars are always, I think, fun, and, you know, much like this series here, when you've got even pace cars that are pretty controllable, it tends to lead to good racing. That's why the MX-5s, it's why the Skip Barbers have always been so good in iRacing as well, because they just lend to good racing, good hard racing, and close racing. The ability to slipstream, the ability to, you know, work the car, control the car is a big part of it.
I'm looking forward to there's a new track coming out. It's a Spanish track. One of the MotoGP tracks, apparently.
Mugello, the Italian track?
Is it Jerez?
Okay, Perez, yeah.
Perez, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Mugello's coming out. That's on the back of Rossi now racing cars.
Yeah, true. And doing very well as well.
Yes.
So we're just looking at Glenn Boyd and Damien Seeger. We've got Steve in the chat as well. Hello, Steve. How you going, mate?
Good, thanks.
It's good. Just noticed you'd popped in here for a bit of a hello.
Yes, just back from Canada, so watching from the sidelines this week.
When are you going to get back behind the wheel?
Hopefully next week. See how things go.
Very good. And how was Canada?
Awesome.
I bet. It'd be cold this time of year over there, wouldn't it?
Well, we came from minus 25 back to plus 37, so a little bit of adjusting to be done, yeah.
Jeez, I'd love the minus 25. Oh, that'd be my kind of cup of tea, I reckon.
Not bad. I got a little bit of frostbite on the nose, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Well, as long as you said the nose, I thought you said something else there for a second. Jared Philsell gets back in front of Hobson. They're fighting at the front, and Boyd's staying with him. I can't believe the gap back to Moz. Andrew, it's 3 or 4. It's 4.5 seconds. That all comes from that pit stop. So they've had a shocker. They'll have to probably relook at their calculations for race 2. These guys, and you don't get long. You get 10 minutes between races. How many of these guys are quick and smart enough to go away and realise that they've taken too much fuel? What do you do for race 2? Because this has cost them fighting for a podium.
Well, hopefully all of them that didn't come out with the top 3 are smart enough to have a quick look. As we see, is Canto off?
Canto, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully they have a look at that, because it's obviously cost them big time. What was a train of 7 or 8 is now down to just 3 at the top. So
yeah, and Jared's just put in a purple sector in sector 2. So he's probably getting a little bit of aero help here off the back of that MX-5, but now he surpasses them, and this is where he usually puts the foot down. He'll know what Hobbo's capabilities are. He knows that he's filling his wing mirrors, and Jack Boyd's just behind him. Whilst he knows Jack Boyd's P3, he probably feels quite comfortable here, because I don't think, as much as Hobbo would send it on anyone, he may just think twice about the big send on his teammate.
yeah, I was just thinking that, mate. I don't think he'll do anything silly. So I think Jared's probably in a safe spot here for the win.
And with the inverted top 8, Henry Fenson, currently sitting in 8th place, would be a pole sitter for race 2. So that's looking good for Fenson, because we know he's got speed. His best lap time here tonight has been a 1:44.5, which is actually 2/10 quicker than your race leader's best lap time. So, he might be able to, if he can start from P1 with this inverted top 8 in race 2, he may have a chance of sneaking away with a victory.
Yeah, well, I'm actually looking forward to seeing Damo with his starting effort in this race, how he'll go off P2.
That's right, he'll be on the front row, so if he can get a ripper start, as Hobson now sneaks to the lead, and Boyd's going to try and follow him through, although I think Philsell will cover the line under brakes. So Hobbo now leads with a couple to go. I wonder if that was a bit of a teammate switcheroo, because they're trying to save fuel to get to the end. They're always tight on fuel, these guys. They've got this knack of racing right on the limit, but that looked like a bit of a choreographed switch.
Yeah, I was thinking that, mate, because I didn't see Jared make any sort of mistake coming around the southern loop, so I think you're spot on the money there, mate.
Very choreographed, as we just saw. I think that was Aaron Oliver going around, unfortunately. And further down the field, still Jesse leading the MX-5 class, and Keith Lagan just going through on Jesse now. But that's obviously for outright position, but Jesse fights back. I tell you what, he's got some big talent on display in that MX-5, running P14. Scotty Baker currently P2 in class, 16th outright, and Ant Cuthbertson once again on the podium for class B, looking good. But Jesse, he's just impressing me every week now. And he's constantly top of this class, and he's a class act.
Yeah, you're spot on there, mate. He's a good racer. I think we've got the white flag here now. So
One to go, and we're heading down towards turn 1. Too wide here, with Boyd pushing Jared Philsell along, and Philsell will go to the lead. Boyd will go into 2. Hobson now back to 3rd, and Hobbo thinks about the big old switcheroo, goes right to the outside. Look at Philsell, had a moment then on the first part of the southern loop, turned in, the car let go, and he had to rebite the surface of the track, which he did well now, and he remains in the lead. But that's where you see the true champions: quick reflexes, the ability to hang onto a car.
Yeah, exactly, mate. It's you definitely don't want to throw a race away on the last lap.
Oh, Boyd with a late lunge goes to the inside. Hobbo's going to come back at him here. He may just sneak past Hobbo. No, he'll have the long way around down at Siberia. He'll be smart though. He'll try a switcheroo. We'll just stay on board here with Boyd. You can see the black car of Brenton Hobson getting closer as we head up towards the hay shed. This is game on. The white flag has flown, so this is the final lap of the race. They go side by side, Boyd and Hobson. Phil still out in front will welcome this battle behind because he knows that this takes all the pressure off. And Hobbo is going to hang on the inside up over Lukey and needs to probably square off and cover off Boyd going back down the inside. We know he's good on the brakes, and he does. He parks that car in the middle of the racetrack. Great driving, and it looks like he should be able to hang on to 2. It's going to be a drag race down to the checker flag here. Here we go. Looking out the back of Jared Philsell's car through the final corner. It's going to be a win for Jared, no doubt about it. But looking back further, who's going to take P2? It's going to be, as the checker flag drops, it's going to be P2 to Hobbo. Just he gets it by Hobson 2.5 tenths behind the leader. Boyd 3 tenths off the lead. It's a nice close finish there at the top. Moz gets 4th, Fenson 5th, Loshy 6th, and then it's crossing the line. It's very close between them. Boyd gets 7th. Oh wow, it's a photo finish. Harrison gets 8th, Oliver 9th, and Snell your top 10. So it's going to be Lee Harrison with pole position in race 2. And a big congratulations here to this driver as he comes down onto the pit straight. Jesse Carriage is going to come down for Lockmec Racing and take a win in class. That's a fantastic job too. Up 5 positions outright, 13th place and winner of race number 1 for Class B, ahead of Scott Baker, who gets 2nd in class, and Anth Cuthbertson coming home P3 in class. The checker flag waving there in the background. Anthony Connors gets 18th outright, 4th in class. And if we look back further, Billy Martindale after that spin, 21st. And good job by all competitors there. So 18 laps for that first race tonight. We've got another one coming up soon. And we'll talk to a few drivers shortly. But all in all, pretty impressed with the amount of good driving on display there tonight.
Yeah, it was some very clean racing there. Very, very minimal incidents. I actually noticed at the end there that Damo dropped from 7th down to 11th, so he must have had a little whoopsies moment.
Yeah, he did too. So unfortunately, after that fantastic start, he'll start outside that top 8 invert. So that puts him behind the quick guys too. So Phil Sell, who wins the race, will start from P8. We'll get the results up on the screen now thanks to iRacing. And here it is. So Jared Philsell, your race winner. And hello iRacing, and they're going to work for me tonight. Let's try again. There's your results. So Philsell with the win there outright by 2.5 tenths of a second over Jared Philsell. Jack Boyd, your top 3. And if we go and have a quick look at our Class B drivers, which I always like to do, this is how they ended up in their little mini championship. Jesse with the win by 8 tenths of a second, pretty close in the end of Scott Baker and Cuthbertson. 9.4 seconds back up the road, was close with Anthony Connors, but then a big 10-second gap to Tyson Gordon for 5th in class. So, well, it's not as close in Group B, but incredible racing as always. 10-minute break. We'll see if we've got a couple of drivers to come and have a chat with us. But Greg, obviously, I don't know if I'm airing washing that shouldn't be aired, but I know you had a word with the drivers about just cleaning things up, and that was a pretty good effort, I think, by everyone in that race.
Yeah, obviously my long-term goal is to get as close to proper racing as we can, so I've kept reminding the boys that although I haven't done it yet, I believe 8 to 10 incidents a race is still too many. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd go 0 incidents, because in a real race, if you have an incident, 9 times out of 10 you're out of the race.
That's it, yep.
So yeah, we're just experimenting with a few things and see how we go. But overall, the driving this season has been fantastic. The amount of work that the stewards put in each week is getting less and less, so it's great to see.
Yeah, that's what we want to hear. And Brenton's joined us for a quick chat, mate. That was a pretty exciting race up the front. Obviously, some busyness going on, and we're waiting for the big send at the end, but you had your teammate in front of you as well. Were you a little bit careful about throwing it on him?
Yeah, it's the equation becomes more complex when there's 3 of us instead of just 2. So everyone wants to be in the right spot for the last lap, and Jack and I kind of squabbled a little bit too much over that second spot there in that one, and neither of us could attack Jared in the end. So that's how it goes. You just It's like a high-speed game of chess in these things.
How'd the car feel tonight out there? Because first few laps are pretty quick. Obviously, it takes a few laps for these things to come up to temp, but you guys in the top pack were pretty much on it the whole way.
The car's really hard to drive here. The turn 2 especially, it's very, very edgy, sort of trying to throw us off the road nearly every lap. So got to be really careful up there, and it's tricky, and I find it pretty tricky in the really slow speed corners as well to try and not spin out. So it's a challenge tonight, the car. It's a challenge every week, but there's a couple of spots that are extra hard tonight. So I was just fuel saving. Jack was just fuel saving in that first half of the first race there, and after the pit stop, that was time to go. So I don't know, it's good.
Any thoughts of something different there? We noticed that it was just a train into the pits, and the top 3 competitors really quick on fuel compared to the rest of the pack. You probably noticed when you came out, it was a battle of 6 or 7 drivers for the first half of the race. You came out of the pits, just the 3 of you. Everyone else disappeared. Well, that was a difference in about 4 seconds in the pit stop. But was there any thought when you're in that train behind Jack and Jared just to maybe dive in a lap early tonight?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think I'm as quick as those 2 tonight. So if I go off strategy from them, I'll probably just end up losing them. I'm quicker to sort of stay with them, I think, tonight, and then try and put myself in position to at least fight at the end. But I wasn't surprised that Jack and I had a short stop. We were both pretty clearly saving fuel. I was surprised that Jared's was as good as it was, considering he was leading the pack. But he must have really good fuel economy. So, it's Jared fuel cells. So well, we shouldn't be too surprised. But he did have a very good stop there to be able to go pretty much in and out with Jack and myself. So it was really good.
I was alluding that he may have been holding the pack up and sort of setting the pace, but then I looked at the lap times and I was like, well, not really. They're mega lap times. 1 minute 44 is nearly every lap. So he wasn't really slowing the pack up. Is that right?
No, I don't think so. The draft is just so strong. So if you're behind him, like if you're not leading, it's easy to go at that pace. So it probably seems like whoever's at the front is holding everyone up, because you just literally can't go faster. But everyone behind with a massive draft is able to sort of just hang on without looking like they're even trying. So it's the nature of this type of racing. We've seen it with the Mazdas as well in seasons gone past, and even the GT4s when we raced them, things like that. Like they're those sort of cars where the draft is really, really strong, and it's sort of like the Pied Piper a lot of the times.
No, fantastic. Well, thanks for coming in for a chat, man. Good luck in race 2. You'll be starting in this inverted 8, and good luck just getting through that first little couple of laps of traffic to work your way through.
You need to just point a camera at turn 4 and just leave it there. It's all going to go off on the first lap, I think.
All right, we can do that. We'll put the stationary camera down there and see what happens. So thanks, Brenton, for a quick chat.
All right, see ya.
All right, boys, and big thanks once again. Greg's with me, and Andrew and Lee's here as well. Hello, Lee. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, Luke. How are you?
Good. You excited about this one? You're going to be starting off pole, is that right?
Yeah, I'm going to be starting off pole, but look, to be honest, my starts in this thing, I've not got the hang of it, and I've been getting swamped. So I don't see myself entering turn 1 in first place. I reckon I'll be about 4th or 5th coming out of turn 1 too.
Mate, foot to the floor and step off the clutch, I've been told.
Yeah, I seem to do that, and then the front wheels just light up. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll have to work on it.
Oh, very good. Good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing how you can go. I mean, don't let them through easily. At least put a fight up, won't you?
Oh, look, like Brenton was just saying, it's all about fuel saving here. So I was quite happy with my performance in race 1 up until I spun out on the in-lap. And I think I had saved the right amount of fuel to have a short pit stop like Brenton, Jack and Jared ended up doing. So, we'll see how we go. We'll see how we come out of the first sort of 3-4 corners and then put a race plan together. But, I think we're looking okay. If I can just hang on to the back of them, we'll be there to challenge on the last lap.
And a quick shout out to your karting championships over the weekend, mate. How'd you go?
Yeah, look, we could have asked for a little bit better. We sort of didn't hit the nail on the head with the qualifying setup and ended up in 30th spot, but sort of worked our way back, and the driver did awesome, driving from 34th in the final to 20th place overall, and we sort of had the speed to be at the back end of the top 10. So we'll move on to Perth in about 4 or 5 weeks' time, and we'll go over there and have another stab, and it should be good fun.
Oh, well done. Thanks for coming for a quick chat.
No worries. We'll talk to you after the race, hopefully.
Awesome. Righto, we've got 3 minutes till we go to the grid. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back with you shortly. Andrew and Greg will be hanging as well. So back with you in 3 minutes' time, and we get set to go racing for race number 2. Right, we get set to go racing in about a minute's time, and thanks for your patience there as we just look at Keith Logan circulating around there, doing a nice job. Ray Harrison as well, and Ruben Borst. We haven't heard too much about Ruben, but he's out there getting some practice laps in, which is good to see, Greg, isn't it? When they don't give up, they go out there and do a bit of practice in that 10 minutes. It shows they're serious for the second race.
Yeah, it's good to see the boys get out in the warm-up and try and rectify whatever problems they might have had in race 1. I don't need to be on track to realise that I was half a lap short on fuel.
So is that what happened there? We heard you say you were tight on fuel, but that's what it all came down to, was it?
Half a lap, yeah. Unfortunately, I'd sort of banked on 16 laps, and when I went to 17, I was pretty well cooked. So I'll have to recalculate for this one. We did a practice run. We do a practice run every Sunday evening.
Yep.
And we use safety cars during our practice run, but I sort of was out by 1 lap, so we'll fix it for this race.
That's it. That's the good thing about having 2 races. You can just go fix the errors of your ways. But all right, we're just set now. I think as the drivers pull to the side of the track, someone's doing an expression session on the grass down there, one of the green cars. But we'll go down to the grid now and get set to kick it off for race number 2. So this is how they will start, and we'll run through that grid order. So the reverse top 8, and this is the way it looks as we hear Phillip on for round number 6 of the Roadster Rumble. Off the front row, Lee Harrison has all the pressure upon him from pole position. Glenn Boyd will start alongside. Good luck, Glenn. Then it's Loshi and Fenson off the second row. Moz and Jackie Boyd out of P6. Then it's Hobson and Phil Sell. Quick row number 4, that one out of 7 and 8. Aaron Oliver and Ben Snell, your top 10. Then it's Seeger and Canto out of P11 and 12. Further back down the order, Jesse, the first of our MX5s. And once again, a quick grid up tonight. Let's turn up the sound, get rid of that grid graphic, and let's go racing here in these MX5s and 86s, and a lot of smoke in the background is there as they get away. Lee Harrison, what happened there? He's dropping back down the order. He lost a few positions off the start. I hope he didn't take my advice and just give it full beans and step off the clutch. There was a lot of wheel spin there, and Glenn Boyd leads us into turn 1 ahead of the pack. Losh 2. Someone dropping down the order in the background. It's Ray Harrison, who's dropped right to the back, and whoa, where's he off to? He's going for a big old slide down there in the grass. But out in front, look at this battle pack. It's Jared Phil still up 2 spots in the background. And he did say, it was actually Hobson that said, just park a camera down at turn 4 and watch for the action. Well, here we go. This is where it's either going to happen or not. And they all slide in there. We'll pause the camera there as requested. And, it was Hobbo, I think, on the inside. And his teammate went around the outside, and I think he might have pulled off a move there. He has. So Jared up into 5th already. picks up a good move there on Moz, and Hobson's going with him. So Boyd out in front leads. Jack Boyd P2. It's the Boyd 1-2 show in the Boyd Racing 86s. Then you got Wayne Losh, followed by Lee Harrison, who dropped the 3 positions off the start. Then you got Phil Sell, winner from race 1 in P5, and not a bad start there at all, Andrew. Pretty clean once again.
Yeah, once again, mate, like race 1, very clean. I was just thinking to myself whether there'll be any parental orders from Glenn to Jack to stay behind him.
I don't think so. No, that would be definitely. What did they do? Ban that in Formula 1. No team orders, no parental orders here. I tell you what, they've got a good gap here on the field as they come onto the pit straight. They've pulled almost a second on Losh at the moment. Losh in the background getting swamped by a couple of cars. Got Harrison, Philsell and Hobson on his tail, but that's a great start by the Boyds here. They've pulled away, and it's going to be Jack who gets back in front now. So Jack leads Glenn, and Hobson goes through. We've got a car straight ahead. Wayne Losh
Loshy
exits the building. He's gone straight across to the other side of the track. Now he's got to be careful here that he doesn't come back onto the track and then get disqualified. In fact, I think he might have been disqualified then.
Yeah, I think once you go around that halfway mark through that grass, I think it's auto disqualification.
Yeah, he's disappeared, so that's sad for Wayne. He got it all wrong in turn 1. He went off there at 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, when you've got no, you just can't brake on the grass, can you? It becomes like ice.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. And I was going to say with Ray, when he went off, it would have taken ages for him to curl it back around and get back onto the track, so he didn't get a slowdown.
Yep. So watching this pack, Nankaro's gone around 2. Trying to pick up where he is. Matty T's out on the outside. They're getting hung out to dry by Anthony Connors. And Keith Logan's in that little mix as well. Didn't see what happened to Nankaro, but he's up and running again. He was the one practicing the grass donuts prior to going live. So he's, I think he's taken his practice a bit too serious there, and he's done it in the race. But anyway, back at the front, Jack Boyd now leads 7/10. Now he'll know he needs to try and sneak away from this pack if he can. If he can get away from Glenn, and Glenn can sort of be a cork in the bottle for Hobson, Philsell and Harrison, it could be his ticket to a win here tonight.
Yeah, I definitely think you'd throw fuel saving out the window in this situation and just go for it, see if you can get that gap, and then worry about fuel when the time comes.
I mean, fuel saving, what is it? I mean, are we talking a second in the pit stop, or 2 seconds, a half a second? Like, what's the actual time that you gain by all that fuel saving in a race?
Well, I'm not too sure specifically with the Toyotas because I rarely race them. But yeah, you can gain a couple of seconds. Longer races, you can gain a lap or 2, so it does work. But like I said, if I was Jack Boyd, I'd just be going for it. You've got that gap already, and you may as well just keep going with it.
Well, mate, Philsell here, he's attached to his teammate. He just backs off prior to the braking zone to give them a bit of separation, but that was pretty close. He's pushed him all the way down the hill, and Hobson, V3, still trying to stay with the Boyds. And you've got Ben Snell, who had a shocker in qualifying. He's come back here into race 2, starting in 10th, I think it was. He's up to P6, so Snell, once again, he's got a lot of skill. He's the worst luck when it comes to quali, or at least making it to quali. I'm sure he's got very good excuses. Maybe he's got to make dinner or something for the family, but he's here with a vengeance in race 2. And as he gets a big slide on, he's still a chance to podium this car. If anything goes wrong up the road, he's still a chance with that sort of lap speed.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. He proved it in that first race, cutting through the field, how quick he was, as someone else has gone.
Matty T, watch the re-entry. Big crash. Martindale again has been involved in that, and we saw that coming a mile away. Matty T came careering back onto the track, or is it Anthony Connors? Someone's gone over on their lid there. It might have been Anthony Connors. We'll have a quick look.
I think it was Connors.
Yeah, so we saw the way he was coming back onto the track. Let's have a quick look at the replay here with Connors. And that's hard luck, isn't it? It's just, here's a magnet for this one. So here's the, you can see Matty out of control to the left of your screen. Now we come back on and watch this. Bang, Connors nowhere to go, ends up on his lid. And that's one barbecued MX-5, sadly.
Yeah, like you said, once you get on the grass, it is so hard to so hard to pull any car up really, and you're seeing when Matty T came back on the track, he was obviously holding his brakes and it bit in, and yeah, an unfortunate racing incident there by the looks of that.
And it almost, it's that couple of seconds before you make contact that you're like, oh, this is going to ruin a few people's nights, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, mate. You just hold on and hope for the best that you're going to cut through some cars. But yeah, that situation did not happen then.
Hobson, P2, just cruising along, and I keep looking over to my monitor that has all the race cams, and Greg, I see you still working very hard behind the wheel there. Let's pick up with you, and you're down after that shocker with fuel in race 1. You're in 29th, you've made up a spot. Next up the road for you is Michael Nancaro, so what's your plan here? Just head down?
Yeah, I've actually done my pit stop, so
Okay.
it was rather crowded, and a few boys were eager to get on with the job, so I thought, well, a perfect time to pit. I wasn't going to obviously gain too many spots, so I've done the pit stop, and hopefully I've got it right this time.
Is that your shift light, or?
I was just about to say that. I was about to say that every time he's got a shift, it's like a bloody orange light lights up for you.
I thought he was just overworking and going a bit red in the face.
No, I've got I've actually got a dash mounted on the front of my wheel, so
Yep.
I don't use the iRacing shift lights. I sort of tuned my dash to tell me when to shift. So.
Yeah, nice. Is that running a program, Greg, or is it just
Yeah, so it's hooked up to SimHub.
Oh yeah, yep.
So yeah, it just gives me all the info, lap times, obviously gear shift.
And how much when you're racing, Greg, do you actually look at, other drivers around you? Do you have a track map up, or do you pay much attention to other drivers' lap times, or is it more just about you ticking your own boxes and the speed you carry?
I only ever worry about myself until they're under a second on the
Yep.
relative, and then I'll have a look and see who it is and work out what strategy, whether it's somebody that I'm actually racing against or a faster car coming back through the field.
Yep. As we look at Ben Snell here, he's on the back of this, he was 6th place, so he's on the back of the top 5, and the top 5 now compressed to 1.2 seconds, so if Snell can just get ahead of Lee Harrison here in the Pro Karts Race Centre car, he's got a good opportunity to try and sneak up into that top 3 as they all go across the line there. Slowest out of the top 6 there was your race leader Jack Boyd. Fastest there was Aaron Oliver, who just did a 1:44.5, sitting back in 9th place. So as we spoke about in the first part of this race, or race 1, sorry, and then in the break, just the tow being so strong around here, almost identical lap times for the top 6 there. It was a 45.2 for the leader, and a 44.9, a 44.9, a 44.7, and a 44.9 for the next 3 or 4 cars. In fact, another 44.9 for Snell. So the 5 cars behind the race leader, almost matching identical lap times. It's incredibly close.
Yeah, and it's I reckon it's woken Jack up, because now he's got this freight train behind him.
Well, it's what we saw in race 1, isn't it, Andrew? The same thing happened to Phil Cell. Phil Cell has that ability, though, in that last lap or two, he almost stretches out, half a second, which puts a little bit of pressure on the guys behind, and then it invokes a bit of a fight between the competitors behind, and all of a sudden that helps Jared just secure a win.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Jared's a top quality driver in any car, really, isn't he?
Yeah. Looking back from Boyd racing car out in front. Jack Boyd still got his dad back in P4, and nice effort there for Glenn, who's got Lee Harrison behind them. Ben Snell behind them. Damien Seeger's had a nice second race tonight. He's back up into 7th, so he did that great start in race 1, then slipped backward. Now he's up four spots into a top 7. Probably ruining what happened in race 1, because he may be up there fighting with probably Glenn Boyd for P4 if it wasn't for that little mistake.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I was just thinking ahead to pit stops, and obviously Damo was one of those ones that took a bit of a longer stop, so it'll be interesting to see whether he's learned from that race 1 pit stop and whether he'll implement something different in this race.
I want to give a quick shout out here to Darren Linus. He's had a shocker in race 1. Here he is, P17 now, and driving very, very well. He's got the road
calm and collected.
Very calm, collected. Got the Roadster Rumble T-shirt representing, and up 18 spots in this second race. So, you know, that's, to me, you know, you have a shocker in race 1. You don't give up for the night. You come back, and beauty of these series that have 2 races or 2 shortish races in one night, 2 sprint races, is it's not all over. You know, a lot of these guys put in effort all week. They practice the track, they practice the setup and the combination, and then, you know, you bomb it in race 1. It's very easy to get depressed and go, well, that's it, I'm packing the sim up for the night, see you later. But here's a good example of a bloke that said, no, I'm hanging it out, I've got the webcam on, I've gone to the effort, and he's having a ripper. Second race tonight, up 18 spots into 17th.
Yeah, spot on, mate. And look, I think we've all done it where we've had a shocking race 1 and we've packed it up for the whole night, and yeah, gone on our merry way. But yeah, good to see Darren sticking it out and in the position where he is.
So some cool board games or something in the background there too. I have a sticky beak, I can't help it. It's like when you go past someone's open garage, you've got to have a quick look. All
mate,
exciting things are in the garage.
When I'm back, I'll have a camera up for you so you can have a sticky beak at my little surroundings.
Very good. Yeah, no, it's always good. Some games in the background there, different sorts of Scrabbles and all sorts of things, I think. Yeah, but look, he's driving well. But here we are back at this lead battle. Still Jack Boyd, 2/10 ahead of Brenton Hobson. Jared Philsell sitting in P3, 6/10 covering the top 3. Huge train of cars behind there. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars now within 1.5 seconds, with Seager bolting onto the back. Snell makes it 7 within 2 seconds. Then you've got that little gap, 7th and 8th. There's about a second there between Seager and Oliver. Oliver just can't grab that little bit of extra pace he needs to get inside that toe distance.
Yeah, and I was just thinking again about pits. I think it'll probably more than likely be a carbon copy of the first race. You know, once P1 blinks, everyone else will follow, and this is a good little battle here.
Well, this is
his work cut out for him.
Yeah, this is for P1. So I think I said earlier, you know, it was a bit of an easy race in the Mazdas, but here we go. They're battling over the lead here. Scott Baker is putting on a fight, and Jesse's having to defend like crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different story from race 1, isn't it? Jesse with that little gap and nice cruisy race, and now he's got Scott breathing down his neck.
Oh, I was just about to say Graham Ellis is having a rip too. He was P3 in class, and he's just thrown it off into the weeds, unfortunately. So has he got a bit of damage to the front of that car? So poor Graham there, he was doing so well. Now he finds himself 6th in class after being P3.
Big G will keep powering on, mate. He'll keep powering on.
He will. He's a good, great supporter of what we do here, and always vocal on the comments prior to the race, etc. So yeah, it's good to see him. You know, once again, he's even got the Race Stars banner on his wall, so he gets extra brownie points for that.
Just having a look at the timing here, Foster in 14th. He messaged me before this race and said he's going to go from last to top 10. So we'll see how this pans out for him.
Did he say what he did in race 1 that put him out of the race?
No, he actually didn't. He just goes, I'm going to go from last to top 10. So he's working his way there.
Yeah, he's in the pit lane now, so he's getting his stop out of the way. We are keeping an eye on you, Greg, too, with that early pit stop strategy, 27th. But I'm looking in front, there's a train of cars that haven't stopped, so you've got to be pretty confident to, you know, get yourself inside the top 20 after the pit stop phase at least.
Yeah, I had a bit of an unfortunate Mick Nancaro spun a couple of laps back, and unfortunately I had nowhere to go, so I gave him a slight tap, which just put John Thorne back in front. But I'm able to sit with John, and I'm watching my fuel carefully, and it's telling me I've got about 17.1 laps of fuel, so I might just sit here for a little while. And
well, 17 laps of fuel should be plenty, mate.
It should, but that's total.
Right.
So, and we did 17 laps last time round, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have you running out again because we're in the virtual world. We can't run the jerry can out here. You're all by yourself.
No, that's what worries me. But no, I'm under the. I mean, I've got a 4X. Unfortunately, I had a 0 in the first race, so I got some points back there. As long as I don't get any more incidents in this race, it won't cost me any penalties. So hopefully that'll give me a few more points.
Yeah, very good. Hey, Brendan Hobson just peppering the back of Jack Boyd's car. We actually saw that. Unfortunately, it's one of the things that you do get in iRacing. You see inside the car, it goes, and they go, they mesh together, the two cars in the virtual world. But he gave him a pretty good hit. You could actually hear it on the race camera, the hit that he gave Jack Boyd to launch him down the straight. And now here comes Phil Sell. I reckon Phil Sell might send it to the inside. Hobbo half closes the door, and I tell you, they've backed him back up again. Look at this. In fact, now Aaron Oliver's joined the battle as well. We've got 8 cars within 2.5 seconds. Huge freight trader cars down here.
Yeah, and having a look back, you got Moz that isn't too far behind this pack, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tags on the back very soon.
True. Yeah, looking at his lap pace, he's been in the 44s, did a 44.6, I think his best lap. The race leader's best lap of 44.8. So
I don't think we'll be too far off pitting here, I don't think.
Was it a lap after this last time around? We're lap 10.
I think it was, yeah, about the 18-minute mark.
This is where I thought, I tried to prompt Hobbo just to try something different. Let's see if he does. I don't think he will. And Boyd this time will be the one that leads him in. Phil Sell would be a guy that maybe sneaks in the pits, he doesn't though. So I'm trying to, trying to entice them to do something different here, but they're not gonna.
Yeah, I think it'll be a carbon copy, mate. I think once Jack blinks, everyone else will follow.
Look at this once again, all 3 of them. It's like a freight train here. They're hooked up, and Glenn Boyd. Glenn has stayed with this. This is impressive, and yeah, he's got the advantage of the toe, but he's right there on the back of Jared Philsell, and what a credit is, I know we like to talk him up a lot, but he's a stature in sim racing, Jared Phil, so it's so good to have him in this series. He's a benchmark, and a lot of these drivers will just be going around here saying, look, I'm matching Jared Philsell. I'm racing door to door with a guy that's won multiple championships. He's a big name across sim racing, and how cool is this for this Roadster Rumble to have, Jared joining in and being a great part of it.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. It'd be like, being in the real world, jumping in and saying you're matching pace with Shane Van Gisbergen,
Yep.
To come in and say that you're matching pace with someone of the class of Phil Sell, it's, that'd be pretty humbling.
Yeah, and credit to the series too, Greg. I've said it a million times, but to be able to entice guys of this stature to come and race is great. You've got Hobbo there, and he's there week in, week out. We know he's a huge part of sim racing, and he's got a great channel, Hobbo88, and if you haven't checked it out, you should go and check it out. But mate, credit to the series. It's bringing in some guys that just love their Monday nights in this Roadster Rumble.
Yeah, Hobbo was only commenting last week about how he used to love just him and Jack, but it's getting a bit crowded up the front now.
Here comes the pit party, by the way. It's they're all in, except for Jared Philsell, who stays out. So there you go. Something different. He's a man that's going to have a crack. So he's going to go for the overcut here. Lee Harrison's going to stay out with him. They're right together, those two. And I wonder if Lee just didn't say, right, I'm going to do what they don't do. And if Jared stays out, I'm going with him, because it's Boyd in the pits. Both Boyds in the pits. Hobson, Fenson. In fact, Henry Fenson just stops in his box now. Watch the order just change around here as they race out of the pits. I think Jack Boyd's just going to edge out Hobson to get out in front, and he does. How long was the stop for Hobbo? 8 seconds stationary. Oliver was 8 seconds stationary. Boyd was 10.3, once again in that 10-second range for Glenn Boyd, which puts him out in 9th. So, you take an extra 2 seconds of fuel. Sure, you might be safe at the end, but the track position is mega when you take 2 seconds extra in the pits.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see where, with the Phil Sell and Harrison situation, if, like we were just saying, if you're matching pace with Phil Sell, you're obviously doing something right. So if Harrison can stick with Phil Sell and they end up coming out in front of the group, it's going to be a good position for those two.
I'm watching the sectors here. They're not purple sectors. What did Jared do? He did a 34.2, and a 34.0 was Lee's time, and yeah, they're not lighting it up here to leap ahead. So we'll see what happens in the pits. But the one thing we do know is he'll take less fuel than any of them, and he'll come in now to make that stop. Harrison will follow him in. We keep our eye on Jack Boyd now. He's being pushed along by a hobbo. I'm predicting it's going to be a lot closer than the last race when they come out of the pits here. We should still have at least 5 cars tucked together.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it might be a little bit chaotic on pit exit.
All right, let's watch this. We'll stay here with Jack Boyd. Jared just into his pit box now, coming to a stop. Harrison also at a stop now, and they're just coming onto the pit straight is Jack Boyd and Hobson. So here we go. There's Harrison just getting away, and behind him, look at Phil, so already up to pace, comes out of the pits. Where is Boyd? He's getting the push along, but I think they're going to be behind. There they are, and you can see up the road, there's Jared, who's got out ahead. Harrison will be line ball here with Boyd, and they come through turn 1. Boyd on the inside of Harrison. He's got to be careful. Hobbo will sneak through as well. That was really close between those two, and a good foresight there, or at least good vision for Harrison to not move over to the apex. It would have been a massive crash if he had blocked Boydie and Hobbo at full speed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see now with Phil. He's got a 1.2, 1.3 second gap. So if he's got the fuel to make it to the end, or whether he has to save some, or a bit of an accident here.
Yeah, Boyd and Snell have got together down at Southern Loop, so both of them have now dropped down to 9th and 10th, and it looks like Glenn Boyd maybe just gave that position back to Snell as well. So I wonder if there wasn't some contact, and Glenn's worn the blame for that one. He definitely looked like he just handed that position back. I'll see if I can find a replay. But they've gone for the old excursion down the bottom there near the water. Let's have a look at the replay. So it was down through turn 1, and Snell turns in, got a swapper on. So Snell actually got sideways, and he held it for a long time, and then he lost the back end right at the last minute. And Glenn, unlucky party there, just got collected on the way through. So definitely not Glenn's fault. That was all on Snell, who unfortunately lost the car control.
Yeah, once you put one tyre on the grass, you're a goner.
He hung on to it for a long time though, so credit to him there. He definitely was hanging on for dear life. But plenty of traffic. Look at this. We've got Phil still cutting his way through the MX-5s. Jack Boyd trying to close in. Behind them, Hobson and Lee Harrison very close together. Mega, to be fighting this close and sneaking your way through MX-5 is pretty exciting. Let's have a look at the battle for Class B. And he's all alone again. Carriagey is, what is he, 12 seconds ahead of, guess who? Greg Holmes, P2. We don't want to put too much pressure on him here, but he's P2 ahead of...
Might think quietly.
He thought he could sneak away and we wouldn't put the pressure on him here, but P2 with Darren Linus right behind him as well. So looking good, mate.
This is going to... I've got 3 very capable drivers behind me.
How about the heart rate? I reckon the heart rate's up there, 120 at the moment. What do you reckon?
I think mine's 150 resting, so... I'd be happy if it was only 120.
Oh, mate, under some pressure here, but hang on to it. We will see you in about 5 minutes. Stand on that podium if you can keep it where it is now. Smoke up ahead, and plenty of dirt on the track down there as well. Look at the dust and grime, and is that slippery, Greg, down there? There's dust everywhere.
Yes, it is. It's very slippery, and the boys behind me are coming in really hard and deep. I'm trying to pull it up so I can get a better exit out of there.
Darren Linus having a look now, and like I said earlier, what a great recovery for Darren too, to be back and having a race. He's looking pretty calm too, Greg. I know you can't see his webcam, but he's looking like a bit of a silent assassin now as he closes in on the back of your car.
He's in the box seat, I'll give him that.
He definitely looks a lot calmer than Greg.
He's
about half my age too, so.
Yeah, he's the young whippersnapper trying to take it to the legend, Greg, who runs the series, and we go back to the front battle, and it's still a 2-horse race at the front, and I'm surprised by that. You know, I think Jared did the overcut, went around him, and we've got a spinner, have we?
Yeah. Just cool. I just caught the curb.
Unfortunate. We put the mockers on you, mate. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So we'll have a look at the replay. So over the top of Lukey, coming down into the braking zone, nice and straight. Caught that inside curve, did you? The back end will come around.
Yep.
Kept it off. Oh, and they got the fence as well. So a bit of damage there that will play against you for the end of the race.
Yeah, we'll. I'll just see how we go now. See if we can. What do we got? About 4 seconds to make up to the boys in front. So see if we can't put in some lap times.
The front of the car doesn't look too bad, if that's any consolation.
That was a very
Consolation.
light tap,
Yeah, see what happens when you called him a legend?
I know. I know.
Got the better of him.
It was all my own doing.
So that elevates Darren Linus now into P2, so no one's going to, I don't think, catch Jesse for that class. It's a 13-second gap between P1 and P2 in the MX-5s. John Thorne finds himself now P3, and he's not too far behind Linus, so still some pressure on there, and Thorne, he'll be eyeing off a P2 if he can in class. He'll hold no prisoners. Billy Marndale's had a good recovery. He had a bit of a shocker in race 1, so another driver to give some credit to for bouncing back. And this stage of the race, I think I said this earlier, you know, 3 minutes to go, Jared's just done a purple sector. He has this ability to just break your thoughts and your wishes, you know, with a few laps to go, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly, mate. It could be a case of, the shackles are off, he's got enough fuel to the end, or, maybe he's just been playing everyone, and, he's just, a couple of minutes ago, he's just going for it, so.
He is absolutely flying now, so we're just watching this race close down in the late stages, and Jack sitting behind Brenton Hobson as well. You happy points-wise? Good finish in both races for Brenton. And then Lee Harrison has just dropped back slightly. Then a huge gap, 3.6 seconds back to Aaron Oliver, who's up 4 in this final race. Henry Fenson went back a couple. Moz went back a couple as well. And then Damien Seeger, should be able to hold his head high. He's up 3 spots into 8th for the final race tonight as well. It's the biggest mover and shaker, Neville Mell, up 18, and Mark Foster, like you said top 10, didn't you? He's only got 3 more spaces to find to get top 10.
Yeah, he was pretty confident. He was talking up a big game that he'd be top 10.
Fozzie?
Tried to bring him down a peg, but...
Well, there's one more, because Moz is in the fence. Moz is in the fence, so here's another one for him. He'll be he should be P12, I think. Where is he now? He's just coming up. Has he got through? No, he hasn't yet. He's just coming up to Moz now, who's over down at MG. Oh, so he's not going to catch him. Moz has just done his best to throw it all away. He won't catch him. We should get 1 lap to go at the end of this one. I think we're just having a look. Well, this actually could be the last lap of the race. Is the white flag? No white flag yet. We'll have a look at the someone coming past the checkered flag, or someone coming past the line will be able to give us an indication if we've got a white flag out. But I'm just having a look. He's halfway through the lap with 40 seconds to go. And you're right, there's definitely no... Oh, yeah, there is a white flag. There you go, folks. There's that little man with his white flag. So,
his arm would be getting sore.
So we're on the last lap here. Jared Philsell halfway through that lap is fighting with Jack Boyd. So it's on here. It's not over yet. Jack Boyd gets alongside, almost some contact as they go up through the hay shed. These two, no love lost. And I'll tell you what, Brenton Hobson is watching this very intently. Boyd's going to have the inside up over Lukey. He'll need to shut the door here on Philsell, which he does. He parks that car right in the middle of the road. Philsell goes to the outside. Oh, Hobbo gets in there deep as well. And looking back from Boyd's car, he's just ahead of Philsell through 11. We come up towards turn 12. Philsell looks to the inside, goes back to the outside. Jack Boyd, can he hang on from here? It's going to be push and shove through the final corner. Jack Boyd leads us onto the pit straight. Will he squeeze him to the wall? The checker flag's going to fly. It's going to be an absolute line ball decision between them, and it's going to be a win to Boyd. 31 thousandths of a second over Philsell. Hobson gets 3rd. Lee Harrison P4. And what a finish. What a grandstand finish. Jack Boyd took it to him, and he took the win. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was an absolutely amazing finish there.
Incredible run to the line. And Jack, He got a little bit of a push from Phil, so it was not nice, clean racing. But in the end, strong enough to take the win. And here comes your Group B race winner, is it? Jesse Carriage just in front of Mark Foster, who's going to finish in 13th. Almost got to P10, but Jesse, once again, for Lockmec Racing, will come across the line in the MX-5 to take a win in Class B. And that's a good drive. It's a double for him and a fantastic result. In this points championship, he'll come home P1 in class ahead of Darren Linus, who gets second. What a recovery for him tonight after having a shocker in race 1. He crosses the line. We get any emotion? We get a hand in the air? Any sort of celebration? Nothing. Nothing. Very calm and collected, man, as and Martindale takes P3. So fantastic racing again tonight. We'll have a chat shortly to the top 3, and we'll wrap it all up here from Phillip Island. And Greg, how was that, mate? You must be worn out.
I am absolutely exhausted. It's yep, it's been one of those nights, unfortunately. I threw it all away, but it's my own doing. So yeah.
Well, it was good at this end. Fantastic racing at the front, and Jack Boyd comes home strong ahead of Jared Philsell and Brenton Hobson. As soon as iRacing gives us the results, which they just have now, we'll throw them up on the screen, and this is your official timing results. Thanks to iRacing and SDK, it is Jack Boyd with the win there by 0.029. Very close finish. Incredible job, Philsell P2. Brenton Hobson completes your podium for Synergy Sim Racing, just under 0.2 of a second, covering the top 3 drivers. Fantastic race. Lee Harrison got 4th ahead of Aaron Oliver, Henry Fence and Seeger. Glenn Boyd back in 8th there. Unfortunately got tangled with Ben Snell towards the end, which meant they dropped back a little bit. And Neville Mel rounded out your top 10. We'll go and have a look at Group B quickly. And this is how they finished up. Jesse Carriage with a win there. 13.6. I'm pretty sure that's identical to race 1. Ahead of his closest competitor, Darren Linus and Billy Martindale. So good racing all round. Let's see who we've got to chat to. We'll just hang tight until they land in the green room. But once again, Andrew Dutch joining me in the commentary tonight. Mate, that was good racing. Obviously, it's a track we all love, Phillip Island. We love coming here, but it always tends to be good, close, hard-fought racing.
Yeah, mate, it is. It's obviously, you know, being able to race on an Australian track is, you know, every little boy's dream that loves motor racing. And if you can't do it in the real world, you can do it in the sim world. So you know, it was good, clean racing. Only a few minor incidents, and yeah, hopefully the boys will be back next week with some more clean racing.
Let's take our Group B winner tonight, Jesse. Well done, man. A great performance to get a couple, and you've got 12th outright too. You got to be pretty happy with that performance.
Yeah, it was good tonight. Thanks, Luke. Everything just sort of worked well for me. Got the starts down pretty well, and you know, we did a bit of practice yesterday to get the pit strategies down, and we just took the right amount of fuel, so that gave me a little bit of extra lead on the pack behind us. And look, it all just sort of panned out well for us tonight. Could have went either way there. There's a few sort of few re-entries that got a little bit hairy, but thankfully Lady Luck was on my side, so you know, happy days. And
mixed it with the 86s as well, and loving it.
Yeah, I think you know, it's been fun this season. You know, it's taken me 8 seasons to get up to the front, so I'm just happy that I was able to race, you know, at the front of the pack this season. So we'll see what happens next season. Well done, mate. Anyone you'd like to thank before we kick on? Yeah, sure. Look, it goes out to all the missuses and the girlfriends tonight, you know, all the ladies that sit out there and have to put up with their lads jumping on the sim day in, day out to, you know, get a good result like tonight. So just shout out to those ladies. Shout out to the ladies. Well done, mate. Thank you, and great racing tonight. Well done. Thank you. Right, and we go now to our top class, Class A winner, Jack Boyd. Mate, what a finish. The heart rate must have been through the roof. You had Jared Philsell giving you a little bit of a little push from behind as you came onto the pit straight, but you had enough to hang on. Well done.
Yeah, it was really good. I think it was the first time me and Jared have had a decent battle towards the end of the race. They're just all out, not sort of worrying about any other cars. So yeah, it was good fun. I think I got pretty lucky there. I was surprised he didn't get me in the side draft coming up to the line, but yeah, pretty happy with this week. A bit better than last week. Yeah, yeah, happy overall.
29 thousandths of a second, man, the difference at the end. It can't get much closer than that.
Yeah, I was super surprised. Like, I mean, me and Hobbo had heaps of races in the Mazda where the side draft was just a bit more. And normally, I think we had a few times around this track as well. You could normally get the side draft and just pip them on the line, but not to be denied. And it was a pretty good race in the end there.
Well, great job. We haven't got the other boys here, so we'll do some thank yous. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, just to the guys coming back, Hobbo and Jared. We always have a really good clean race. Tonight was no exception, so thanks to those guys. Thanks to Greg and his admin team again. Might be a few incidents tonight, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks to yourself for the broadcast.
Well, great racing. Loved every minute of it. Just having a look at how close it was at the line there, you guys. Incredible job, and great having your racing and cleanly racing at the top of the field tonight. So well done to a race winner in race 2, Jack Boyd. Righto, Greg, we'll throw it to you, man. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up for tonight? It's good racing. Obviously, we've got a week off next week, then we come back for a couple of weeks to finish off the season.
Yeah, so I think based on what we've seen this season, Luke, we might look at doing something a little bit different in season 9. I won't let the cat out of the bag just yet, but I think we've thanks, Dutchy.
It wasn't me.
Must have been Jack or Jesse. But yeah, we're going to sort of step it up a little bit next season. So hopefully, all the boys that have joined us this season will come back and give it another crack. But I've got to go off, and I'm hoping that maybe Pukekohe might come out tomorrow night.
Man, that'd be awesome.
Well, if it does, I can almost guarantee it'll be the last race of this season for us.
Yeah, that'd be so cool if it happens. So yeah.
I've raced it on a Assetto Corsa.
Yep.
And it is a barrel of fun. So
I've raced it on R Factor 2, and in a supercar, it's one of the funnest tracks you'll ever race.
Yeah. I've actually been to Pukekohe and watched the supercars live as well. So. Sort of got a bit of it tugs at the heartstrings a little bit, so I'm really hoping that it does come out tomorrow night, and if it does, then we might end up racing that in the final round of season 8.
Mega. Well, mate, thanks for tonight. Big thanks to Andrew as well for joining me in the commentary, and congratulations to Jack Boyd, Jared Phillip, and Brenton Hobbs in your top 3, and Jesse who took out Class B. We'll see ya in a couple of weeks' time, boys.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, mate.
Take care. Righto, so that's all we got time for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and everyone that's a loyal supporter of the Roadster Rumble. If you want to get involved and race with these guys, go and join their website. Go and check it out on Facebook and get onto it, because it is mega fun. Best thing you'll do on a Monday night. So until tomorrow night, where we do F3A, my name's Luke. This is RSTVAU. Good night.